Right then, we're going to prototype an Art Deco candlestick for a client and see if he likes the design. Right then, as I said, I'm prototyping an Art Deco candlestick for a client. This client has been with me before. I did the Art Deco bowl for him. If you haven't seen that one, I'll leave a link up there and a link below. At that time, he gave me a rough sketch of something he'd seen when he was visiting the States. This time, he's given me nothing. But he's after buying some new kind of sideboard or display area anyway. And he has the Art Deco bowl centerpiece in it, and he wants an Art Deco candlestick either side. So he's basically given me carte blanche, design something that's Art Deco, and basically we go from there. So I'm going to let loose with this. The only stipulation he had was he wants them 12 inches high. That was the only basic stipulation he had. Right, so in here I have a piece of acacia, which is very nice. There's sap and heartwood in it. And the candle should end up kind of two-tonish with any luck. First thing I'm going to do, round it off, stick it in a chuck, and we'll get going from there. So I'll do that, and we'll be back to the design stage then. And I eventually had to go to Laguna for after-sales service. I'll tell you what happened. Alright then, we'll round it off. What I'm going to do now is just mark out the 12 inches that I need. Which is there. To there, and I want to mark the exact center for this design I have in my head. So we give it, that's dead center, that's 6 inches. That's not a clean line. Grab a bit of sandpaper and take that off, take that line off, because it's not exact enough. And 6 inches is there, right? And then what I want to do is I want to flip over to centimeters, and from that middle centimeter I want to mark half a centimeter either side, and then a centimeter either side of that. Something wrong with that middle one. That one's too far out. So there. You might do that one too. This is there. Right. And my parting tool. Very carefully mark them out. There and there. Right. Now what I want to do is I want to do almost a straight, two straight lines going that way down into those centers. Same on this side. I'm going to be doing that's going to be skinnier. I'm just getting the rough shape in my head at the moment. As I said, I'm prototyping this as I'm going. Get rid of them for the moment. Just get them down. Only placeholders at the moment. Now I'll get those down to their full depth. I want to make sure that those two sides are exactly the same size. Yeah, they're the same size. Now, grab a detail gouge and bring these in. Get them out of my way. That one's slightly too big, so we'll take it down a little and we'll just clip it along the line on that side. Yeah, that's better. Now we get this one down. Right. Now what I want to do is bring those ends down to meet that down here. So I will re-edge my continental spindle gouge so we can get decent cuts on that. Right then, now we get this done. Speed up a little bit. The thing is, I want this perfectly straight. I don't want any curves in it. See, there's a slight curve there. I don't want that there. So I'm going to start coming back up. Right, match the other side up a bit. Now, it's skinnier, I think. Slight bit skinnier. Detail gouge in there to take this out. On this side. The slight thing just there I don't like. That one's slightly wider. Bring that in a little bit. Yeah, that's okay. So take that little bump out of it now. Right. That is now too big. Take that down a little bit. This is too high now. Right then. Now all that's left is the hole for the candle to go in. And then I can get the sanding this and put my finish on it. And we will go from there. And this drill bit is quite close to the size of the handle, or of the handle. I don't need all that much. Sort out that hole with parting tool. Right, so I check this for size, handle size. Yeah, that's about right. The hole drill's slightly off, but it's only a prototype, so I'm not too pushed about it. I think when I'm doing the real one of these, I will actually drill this hole before I do that part, because the vibration is cruel. So the other part and drill. 20 cuts on it. Yeah, definitely I would drill that. I'm going to drill that hole first before I when I'm doing the real ones. That's if you like the design, of course, because the vibration is cruel because of the shape. Yeah, the hole is well off because of the vibration. If you look there, you'll see this side of that rim is much wider than that side. The reason that is because of the way this is vibrating in the chuck. And as I said, when I'm doing the real one, I will not make that mistake, and I will I'll do this part first. I'll do the hole first. When it's still solid, it'll get rid of that vibration. You can see the vibration there in my hand. Yeah. Watch. See it? Now that's perfectly round, but because of the vibration shape, right, it's probably have to vibrate and loosen the chuck, but the chuck is still dead hand. Or it could have been something in the wood that's after twisting it. There's a lot of reasons this can happen, but that's what I'm saying. We're always learning doing this. Especially if you're prototyping something. Alright then. Now, I'll hold that steady, not as steady as I can. Right, now I'm going to sand that. And I'll be back in a minute. Right then, just as I'm doing this short circuit, I'll tell you about the having to go to Laguna after sales, right? Now what happened was, now as you know, I use this lathe kind of almost like a production lathe. Like it could be turning 5-6 hours a day every bloody day on this thing, right? And have to say the lathe's brilliant, holds up to everything I throw at it, right? But what went was the lock for the tool post and the lock for the spindle, or for the quill, sorry, both went within an hour of each other. It was just one of those days, right? So I said, right, I'm going to have to get replacements to this. So I contacted Laguna Europe, which is in the UK, right? It's I think it's officially called Laguna UK, right? But anyway, get spare parts. Yeah, no problem. Have them in stock. Now I have to say, the spare parts that came are fantastic. The quality is actually, I would say, better than the original. Right. But anyway, make a long story short. So yeah, no problem. You can order those, but you have to have a British postcode. They can't send to anywhere in Europe. Right. Obviously, as we all know, England left the EU a few years ago, I would say that the contracts with Laguna were signed and stuff before this happened, or maybe the companies didn't think that it would be taken as seriously by Europe as it was. But basically, if you have a problem with the Laguna in Europe and you contact Laguna UK for spare parts, you'll be told that you have to have a British postcode for them to send you out the parts. Now, as I said, they couldn't have been more helpful, and luckily, thank you, Paul, I have a friend up the north, and the parts got sent to him, and he just sent them down to me. I said, thanks very much for that, mate. So it only kind of added a couple of days. Now, after I ordered the parts, 2 days later they arrived at Paul's, which is fantastic service. Absolutely can't fault the service at all. But the very fact that in order to get a spare part for a Laguna machine in Europe, you have to have a British postcode is a bit much. Now, I do know that Laguna headquarters in the US watch this channel because they've contacted me and stuff, right? It's something you just need to get sorted out, lads. There's a lot more to Europe than just England, and I can tell you from people contacting me when I got this lathe, there's a lot of these lathes after being sold around Europe, and those people need to be able to get service. So you need to sort something out there, Laguna, because if you can't get spare parts, your sales are just going to drop. So it's just something that I thought needed to be brought to light. And I've heard a lot of stories from the US about Laguna's after sales being terrible. I found them brilliant in Europe, except for that one thing. The fact that you have to have a UK postcode for them to send you out parts. It's something that needs to be sorted out. Because, as I said, an awful lot of these lathes have been sold in Europe. Quite a few of them, I might say so. Because, as I said, a lot of people who are thinking about buying them in Europe came to me, messaged me and stuff, emailed me, rang me, asking about the lathe and stuff like that, and I've recommended it wholly and still would. Brilliant lathe. But the fact that you can't get parts is a bit of a joke. So that really needs to be sorted out. Right then, I'll get back to doing this. That's my little rant over. And I'll be back when I'm buffing the wax off. So, see you in a minute. Right then, just buffing the wax off. I think the shape is right. Right, like the straight lines into the steps. I looked at a few reference pieces before I started doing this. Now, a lot of the Art Deco candles that I looked at are square. There was a couple of round ones like this, but this kind of hourglassy shape is in them all. And these square steps seem to be in an awful lot of architecture from the time, which is why I put them in there. I've had an idea for the top of this, I'll tell you about when I'm showing you that at the end. I think it might improve it. Right. That's the rough shape of it anyway. Wood's quite pretty, but I think it's the wrong wood for this. I think a single colour wood would work better. Right then, I'll part this off and give you a better look at it. And then you can, and please tell me what you think in the comments, because as I said, this is just a prototype for a client. And it's a client who's been with me before. He's actually come to, he's been a client for years. But he just wants me to try and match up something that I did for him before. Right then, part this off. You can still kind of see where that mark was. So we go in there. Way too fast. Way too fast. There we go. Now we're talking. You do not need to be going a million miles an hour to part something off. Do this side, see what I'm doing. Come on now. Right then. Right, I'll just sand the bottom of that. I'll give you a look at it. So I'll be back in a sec. Right then, now we have it. A prototype Art Deco candlestick. Right. One of the reasons you should always prototype something like this is not only to get the design into your head, but to find out if there's anything you need to do differently when you're doing the real one. Like drilling that top, I need to do it when it's solid rather than after this, because this being so thin here causes vibration up at the top. So that's a way around that. That's something I'll watch next time. And as I said, I've come up with an idea for up here. I think what might look good up there is a candle tray or a sconce. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll stick a picture up here now of one. And I think it might look quite good up the top there. I think it might need to be slightly wider too, slightly heavier. But the overall design, I think, is about right. So, as I said, tell me down in the comments what you think. As I said, this is just a prototype. I'll show it to the client, tell him the differences that I think should go into it, and we'll see what he thinks. So, if you enjoyed that one, I got out out of it. If you wouldn't mind clicking like on the video, and I'll see you in the next one.